Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of the We Hate Sports Podcast, episode 255, coming at you on this Monday night. A very snowy and relenting, unforgiving blizzard of a Monday night. My name is Philly Cameron, aka PC, joined by TK and Gianni this week. And guys, yeah, like I said, I got 17 and a half inches of snow, and counting, yesterday. TK, you don't have to worry about this, whether you're out in the suburbs of Florida or in the backwoods of Cuba, but you got Gianni. I mean, he's in North Jersey. He got like what was the number that you gave me?
Like 25.
25 inches of snow. So we're all snowed in. Well, most of us are snowed in right now, and what better time to listen to your favorite sports podcast than now? And this week it's gonna be a short episode. This week, at least in terms of the criteria, we gotta talk a little bit about Darren Peterson, and what he's been able to do on the court this season when we've actually seen him. That's the issue right there. We haven't been able to see Aaron Peterson in action, and it's raising a lot of alarms in Kansas. So we'll be talking about that. We'll also be talking about the franchise tag because you already had Kyle Pitts franchise tagged already by the Falcons. And we're going to break down which one of the players currently on our favorite teams we want to see franchise tag to at least come back for next year. We also have talked about the New York Knicks as well as the Boston Celtics and the Detroit Pistons, the top power three in the Eastern Conference. Which one do we trust the most come playoff time? And finally, our interest level in being announced Mike Tyson taking on Floyd Mayweather, as well as Floyd Mayweather taking on Manny Pacquiao for a second time. On a scale of 1 to 10. So a whole lot to unpack on this kind of a slow sports week, if I'm being quite honest with you. But sit back, relax. WHS, we already got you, baby. All right, make sure you follow us on our socials, Wade Sports all across the board. Okay, so to start off, let's talk about this star guard, Darren Peterson, who in a lot of people's eyes is still a top projected lottery pick. And when he has played this season, he has shown excellent flashes on the court, famously taking on one who's projected to be a top pick, AJ Diabanza, picking up a win in that sense. But this season, Pearson, he's been averaging close to 20 points per game, 3 rebounds, not that many assists, but he's shooting 48% from the field. However, something that was very interesting to note, head coach Bill Self, when talking about the star guards, he had mentioned, and I quote, have I really had a chance to coach you yet? Which is something that is alarming to say the least because of the amount of games that Pearson has already missed. So as a two-pronged question right here, do you believe that Darren Peterson is a top three lottery pick? And does NIL need regulations now more than ever to avoid this from happening, TK? I'll start with you.
All right, so the first part of the answer, PC, is just going to be pretty simple. Even though this may be the deepest NBA draft we've had since, what did that, 2003 season? The one with Melo, LeBron. Okay, so yeah, so since that NBA draft back in 2003, PC, we were little fucking children, bro. Like, we were young. I do think that this is the best draft that we have had since then. To answer the first part of the question, PC, absolutely 100% he's a top three pick. I don't think that should be a question for any of us. And if any of us would disagree, I'm just going to call it right now. You're an idiot. All right. So let me just get that out of the way. Number two, what was the second part of the question, PC?
Does NIL need more regulations now more than ever? All things
So
considered. I mean, it's been a mixture of injuries, a mixture of just not playing because of low management for Peterson this year. And there's a lot of people that may think of that the wrong way, but I do think that the amount of games he has missed, it is a red flag, to say the least. And what Bill Self said, even more of a red flag.
all right. So to answer the second part of the question, PC, I do think that the NIL has changed a lot. I think there's no denying that. These 17, 18-year-old kids, PC, they're getting millions and millions of dollars before they even achieve their ultimate goal, which is to get into the NBA to make this type of life-changing money. So PC, these kids are 18, 19, pulling up in school in Ferraris and Lambos. Like it definitely it definitely affects a player's ego. I will say that. But PC Gianni, I'm gonna keep it a buck, bro. I don't think him pulling himself out of games and playing the first half and not being available for the second half. I don't think it has anything to do with the NIL, bro. I did a little bit of research, PC. I don't know if you guys noticed, but this dude, his injury history, PC, is he dealt with a lot of injuries this season. I think I read something about he something to do with his finger. He had another problem with his knee. He had something with his back. I think he was dealing with migraines, illness for 1 or 2 games, and then something with his foot. If that's true, PC, I have absolutely no idea or no problem with this dude pulling himself out of games. I mean, it's not like he's, going out in the first half and not producing. I mean, this dude is dropping 20 points in 2 quarters, and then he finally decides, it's not worth risking the ultimate goal, which is what, PC? They get into the NBA. If this kid gets hurt in one of these games where he's trying to play through an injury because of what the media is saying, what people like us are saying, and he gets hurt, PC, you now have, first of all, you've just missed out on millions on top of millions on top of millions, for one. Because we all know the number 2 pick makes a lot more, has a completely different salary than, let's say, like the number 12 pick. We all know this. So not only that, not only do you miss out on millions, PC and Gianni, but your draft stock decreases. So we're talking about DP right now like he's a top 3 pick, gratefully so, because he is a top 3 pick. But like I said, what if this dude was to get a season into injury, PC? A lot of the teams that were going to take that chance on him are now not going to take that chance. So I'm assuming that the injury reports that I've seen and everything that I've read is true. So if that's the issue, PC, I have absolutely no issue with it because the kid's going out there and showing you the flashes like you touched on before. He's going out there and showing you that, look, I'm very capable of, I'm a bucket. I'm very capable of getting points when needed. Um, but like I said, the ultimate goal is the NBA. So if this kid is really dealing with these injuries, PC, I have absolutely no issue with it. Rest up your body as much as you can. Like I said, it's not like he's just sitting out full games. The kid is going out there. He's pushing it to what he believes is his limit, and then he sits himself. I will say it's something like we've never seen. I hope that this is not something that starts to become common in college basketball, PC, because I think you bringing up the NIL was a great point because those two things can coexist. Those two things can definitely be put matched together. So I just don't think that's the issue or that's the situation with DP. So yes, he's a top 3 pick. He's going to be a top 3 pick in the draft this year. I don't think that there's any concern about that whatsoever. And like I said, if the kid is serious, if the reports that I've seen about his injuries are serious, go out there, do as much as you can, and sit. Because at the end of the day, PC is all about getting to the NBA.
Gianni?
I basically agree with what TK said because this is the one thing. I think he's a top 3 pick in this draft. But the injury issues, I actually looked at the injury issues because when this started becoming more of a frequent thing, I started looking at the injuries and his injury report and everything like that. When you have that many injuries and stuff like that, you gotta protect yourself. I understand that NIL can get in and stuff like that, but you gotta protect yourself because you gotta think about your NBA future, basically. Because, like you said, it's millions and millions of dollars that is right there for you at some point. So you gotta protect yourself. And the one thing too is he's gonna be a top 3 pick, but that's gonna be something that could become an issue, in the future, those injury issues. Because when you have those many injury issues and stuff like that, like you lose money. You're still gonna get the money. You're gonna still get like a max deal if you perform like to the level that you perform. I think he's gonna get the max deal, but he might lose a little bit of money because of the injuries and stuff like that. And I think right now, him protecting himself, hopefully this, like you said, doesn't become a theme in college basketball. But I feel like he just has to protect himself. I think March Madness is around the corner, so we'll see if he could stay healthy enough for that tournament, so we could see him, teams can actually see him more and see how he feels after these injuries and stuff like that, and acknowledge his performance. But yeah, it's a red flag, honestly, the injuries and stuff like that. I still think he's a top three pick, but like you said, if he gets injured in one of these games, his draft stock falls below basically. He could become, instead of the number 3 or number 2 pick, he could fall to number 15, 16 outside the draft lottery. So that's the other concern too.
So
PC, if I just want to say one thing, if the draft class wasn't as deep as it was this year, PC, I think even if a guy like DP was to get hurt, his draft stock would still be pretty high. But this class is extremely deep, bro. So it's like he can't take that chance at all if he wants to secure that top three spot. Go ahead, PC.
yeah, I mean, I think that's on from the public perspective and from the player perspective. Both sides have shown streaks of being selfish. And I think fans are selfish in the way that we want to see the best of the best, in college basketball and in the pros, play each other every single night. And from the player's perspective, that's obviously just not how it works. Sometimes your body just isn't there 100% every single night. Um, but I think with NIL specifically in college, that's where the selfishness may come in from the players. And we've seen, you know, not just in college basketball, but in, college football, baseball, all college sports, we're able to generate some revenue. Players take advantage of this. I mean, we're talking about, guys that are damn near in their 30s taking advantage of this NIL. I can't remember for the life of me the name of the kid, but the guy that went to Wichita State a few years back, where he quite literally flat out admitted that, yeah, I ain't making the NBA, so I'm gonna take advantage of the NIL for as long as I can. It's stuff like that that I think turns the public off in a lot of ways from when we run to guys like DP, who obviously has this track record of, just having unfortunate, injuries left and right. Um, I think the 65 game rule in the NBA is another perfect example of this. Like nobody wants to see the MVP of the NBA, only play, 50 some games and walk away with MVP. Look at a guy like Joel Embiid, who, for years, and Kawhi Leonard for years have been dealing with all these injury issues. And, the public is always going to speak on whatever the case may be about a player. And I think it's too early to admit that someone like Peterson is injury prone, especially when he hasn't even made the NBA yet. Because when he does play, like you said, ZK, he's able to produce at such a high volume. I mean, this dude is dropping 20, 25 points in just one half a play. And, obviously him playing in the tournaments, is something that I think is going to happen. But he's not gonna push his body to his limit. And, the fans and especially the media have to accept that. They have to acknowledge that these guys just aren't going to always be 100%. And why would you want to play if you're not 100%, especially for, all the tricky injuries, the ones that specifically Pearson has had, from, his foot to, a hamstring injury, which is always horrible for an athlete. Like it is not good to have. So to answer the question, I do think, yeah, he is going to end up being a top three draft pick. He at worst top five. I think that's him, doing the best that he can in his situation is all you can really ask for. Um, and I do think that frustration, especially from his coach and maybe even from, the fan bases, it's valid. It's definitely valid. But I don't think it should be like turned into something more than what it actually is, especially from the media. You know, for example, I could be mad if I spill my water on my lap. I'm right next to my setup. And somebody comes in and flashes like me like spilling water. Um, and they run with the narrative that I peed my pants or something stupid like that. When we all know that's not what happened. All I did was just, accidentally spill my water on my pants. It's little things like that that I think the media loves to run with. And I do think that plays a factor in, what Pearson decides to do on when he decides to play for, a certain night. Because yeah, I wouldn't want to play, for, a bunch of like or a bunch of agents and managers and marketers from all these teams if I'm not at my best ability.
And PC,
So
I'm so glad you brought up the agent thing because let's remember this kid's only 18, 19, like first of all.
yeah,
So what if we don't know if he actually wants to play full time and his agent is saying, look, bro, we got to look at the bigger picture, dog. The bigger picture is getting to the NBA and making boo boo fuck
who got
millions,
the
bro.
money?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
exactly. Like I'm not gonna allow you to risk it. And what do you think an 18, 19 year old is gonna do? He's gonna listen.
yeah,
He's gonna listen. So we don't know what the situation is at the end of the day. But one thing I'm glad we all agree is this motherfucker is a top 3 pick. It's AJ, in my opinion, it's AJ Boozer and DP. I don't think
yeah,
those are the big 3 right there. So wherever they land, wherever they end up, the bottom line is, like I said, his agent could be whispering in his ear saying, look, bro, I understand you want to play for these full games, you want to ball out in March Madness and get all these ties on you, but you're already a top 3 pick. And the end goal is getting to the NBA and making all these millions. So we just don't know, PC. We just really don't.
and that's the part that I think is going to be so scary when like navigating these waters, especially with like how NIL is set up and a lot of these 18, 19 teenagers, these teenagers making the decisions for themselves. It's going to be there needs to be regulation. Let's just say that. I'll keep it at that because I mean that's a whole another conversation to have for another day. Um, let's go to the next topic though. Let's jump from basketball to football. We got to talk about the NFL because, like I mentioned in the intro, it's the time to franchise tag players. And there are a couple of players that are already set to be franchise tag, and there are ones that already have been. One in particular, Kyle Pitts, who got tagged by the Falcons. George Pickens might be another one that potentially gets franchise tagged by the Cowboys. Jello ain't here this week, but we got a set array of teams to choose from. So if we had the option, I'm interested to hear both of your answers. Which player do you want to be franchise tag from your team? We'll start with you, TK.
Yeah, only because I'm going against 2 Eagles fans. I might as well just get my answer out of the way. So we don't have a lot of guys this season, PC, Gianni, that are really due for the franchise tag because I have the greatest owners and the owner of Walmart, they know how to work out deals. So shout out to them. Shout out Walmart, bro. Shout out all the Walmarts, bro. Super Walmarts, neighborhood Walmarts, just all the Walmarts. I just love Walmart and I love my owners. So yeah, so there's 2 guys that are due for a franchise tag, PC. That would be Jonathan Franklin Myers and J.K. Dobbins. Who do you think I'm going to pick, bro? Jonathan Franklin Myers, brother. Bro, we need, if we can't get a deal done, PC, we need to franchise tag that man immediately. He was one of the key pieces on the defensive line. We all know about the Broncos defense, so I don't even really need to talk about how elite we are. But yeah, I just feel like you can, if anything, addition rather than subtraction, PC. Let's get this guy back under contract. We have the money. We don't have to pay a lot of guys this offseason. Besides, maybe when we trade for AJ Brown or Justin Jefferson, or Brees Hall, or Travis Etienne is going to be a Denver
Keep
Bronco,
dreaming,
by the way,
pal.
ladies and gentlemen. No, Travis Etienne is going to be we're getting a running back, brother. His
That's why
name
I
is
said
Travis
keep dreaming,
Etienne
buddy.
Jr. But yeah, like I said, PC, it's Jonathan Franklin Myers because, like I said, with the defense, it's all about addition rather than subtraction. And yeah, like I said, shout out to my owners because we only have 2 guys that can be franchise tag this season. I love J.K. Dobbins. Shout out J.K. Dobbins, what he did, PC. He had a great season with the Broncos, but at the end of the day, what ended up happening to J.K. Dobbins? He ended up getting hurt. We could have really used him for the Super Bowl run. We didn't have him PC, and that just seems to be the issue with J.K. Dobbins is he's just always hurt. He's injury prone. So yeah, Jonathan Franklin Myers, brother. Hopefully the Walmart owners are in the office every single day trying to get you a deal done because we need you, brother.
Right. For myself, for my birds, I really hope that it's Jalen Phillips. He's due 98 or once 98 million. And there are a couple of other key pieces that I think we just need to re-sign. First and foremost, solidifying that O-line. But bringing back Kobe Dean is something that I do want to do. A linebacking duo of him and Jahad Campbell for the next, 4 or 5 years, is something that is needed while you still have Zach Bond as well. Having linebacker depth will be important. But one of the key pieces of the Eagles, defense over the last couple of years and for that Super Bowl run was the depth that we had on that defensive line. I would love to see Phillips in a full season with Philadelphia. He made instant impact when we traded for him. And he's worked with Vic Fangio before in Miami, of course. I think that a full season under his belts in Philadelphia is the reset that we needed. And defense was never really the main issue with this team this past season. Matter of fact, the one thing that actually kept us in the game, almost every single game. So, yeah, Jalen Phillips for me, if there were to be somebody that got franchise tag for sure. Gianni?
I agree, PC. I want the Kobe Dean and Jalen Phillips to be back because that defensive line, and plus we can add depth as well over time. The defense is going to be top three again next season. I feel with Jalen Phillips coming back and then resigning Kobe Dean, I think we're in great shape. I think the secondary too, like I think Reed Blankenship might be leaving PC. I think that Dory Jackson too is going to be leaving, so we're going to have to fill out the cornerback too in the safety position a little bit. So, but overall, I would like Jalen Phillips back as the tag, and we get to resign the Kobe Dean after.
Yeah. There's a certain CB2 in Denver right now that I think we could certainly trade for. Especially if we, get to keep AJ Brown, who wants to be an Eagle, by the way. I don't think I've clarified that enough. AJ Brown wants to be an Eagle. I don't
Yeah,
think
I
Howie
know
Roseman
he's
would,
gonna stay. He's
do
gonna stay
treacherous
over
things
Well,
like
here.
let
that.
me tell you something, PC. Keep
Um,
the
you know,
greatest white cornerback to ever play in the league's name out your mouth. We are not trading Riley Moss, brother. It's not
First of
happening.
all, that's his name is not Cooper Eugene. Let's make that very clear right now. Secondly, um,
All right.
I mean, I feel like we can make a deal. Yeah, that's what I was saying. You can't even cover revolver for that.
No,
Oh, Cooper. Oh, Cooper
It's Coop.
DeJean
It's Coop one
Cooper
A.
DeJean
I'll say
for Cooper DeJean
it's
for
Coop
Riley
one A.
Moss straight up. I can do
No,
that.
no,
what are
I can do
you
that.
talking about?
I can do
No,
that
that.
that's how it works.
but my thing with with Moss really is he gets like cooked a lot. I see him
Okay,
get cooked
Gianni.
a
Nope.
lot.
Let me stop you right there, buddy, because I love you. He gets called on pass interferences a lot. But listen, as a Broncos fan who's literally not even, it's not like it's Patrick Surtain, so I don't have to be like biased. Most of the, like 60-70% of those calls are honestly bullshit. It's because he's white, bro. As crazy as that sounds, if it was a black cornerback that was doing this shit, bro, he would get away with a lot of it. It's because he's white and they don't believe that Riley Moss is as good as he really is. I'm telling
I
you,
don't know about that,
Riley
kid.
Moss
Look,
is
I was
that
really
guy, bro.
high. I was really high on Jacorian Bennett, and he got burnt a lot. Got a lot of PI calls on him. So and he
Oh my
black.
god,
He blacker than black. Matter of fact,
oh my god, Bennett in that last game of the season when we had a chance to get a number two seed, the guy was
uh-huh.
getting cooked the left and right. I think he and Ringo too, man. Oh my god, Ringo makes
Yeah.
me lose my mind, man. His performance on the field, man.
Bro,
What's
Ringo
what's
was
crazy?
so bad.
What's crazy? I don't even think Jacorian Bennett as like our fourth string cornerback wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. It really wouldn't. It's really just Ringo and Adoree, bro.
Can
You
we cut
can't have it.
Ringo? Can we just cut Ringo or
I
trade him?
I I really want to. Like I really want to. But I don't know. That's up to Howie. You don't have to make the boss call. All right. Let's all right, halfway through the episode. Y'all, I told y'all. So quick water check-in for all your listeners. Hopefully y'all are doing well. Like I said, this snowstorm on the East Coast. I mean, I was really finding my groove again. I've been so unmotivated, so inspired by the ice that was on the ground, and at least with this nor'easter, it's snow and not ice snow. Like I made a little mini snowman earlier in the day. Like at least I was able to do that. Um, I still got a shovel over 17 inches tomorrow though. That's his so
I can take
tragic.
it.
Uh that of snow. You know what?
That is
Um
crazy, man. That is just insane.
I mean we're talking about snow. You're talking about frostiest snowman's dingling, bro. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Um all your listeners, if you like the We Eat Sports podcast, make sure you follow us on all our socials. Uh let's get to the next topic. And let's talk about the Power Three. Matter of fact, the top three seeds in the Eastern Conference right now, as it stands. You got the Pistons one, currently taking on the Spurs in a potential finals matchup. You got the don't look now. You got the Boston Celtics as the two seed, and then you have the New York Knicks as the three seed. Now, last week the Knicks they got embarrassed by the Pistons again. Pistons are 3-0 against New York this season, behind Cade Cunningham's MVP 40-point performance. But the Knicks were able to bounce back with a win later on that week, win against the Houston Rockets. Meanwhile, Boston, they've won 3 out of their last 4 games. And again, interesting enough, Joe Mazzulla, he's done an excellent coaching job this season. Jaylen Brown, that's first option. Uh, they are all right, more than all right, as a matter of fact, in Boston. They've won 3 out of their last 4. And it's looking like Jaylen Brown, because of that 65 game rule, might be in contention for MVP. So all these top three seeds in Eastern Conference right now, which one do you trust the most come playoff time? I'll start with you on this one, G.
I hate to say, man. I gotta go with Boston, honestly. They just it's just crazy. They never have a bad season, it feels like. Like this season they were supposed to be bad, I felt. Basically looking at the roster and the losses they had. But like Jalen Brown is like he's been cooking all season. And and for Boston to be the number 2 seed without Tatum, they lost Holiday and Porzingis in the all season. Like them being the number 2 seed, I know how open the East is this season, but them being the number 2 seed is probably the most impressive thing, the second most impressive thing, because I think Detroit being this good is impressive as well. But I think they're the second most impressive team this season because of what they had to go overcome, basically the Tatum injury, um, the loss of Holiday and Porzingis, and for them to be here, I think they got a great chance of making the finals. I don't think they will win the finals, but I think they have a great chance of making the finals. Joe Mazzulla should be up there in Coach of the Year as well because it's insane. It's just crazy. Boston. It feels like Boston teams can never have like a nightmare season.
You say that again, TK.
First of all, I don't trust the New York Knicks, PC. I just need to get that out the way. Um, and the biggest reason is I think sometimes you got to be careful what you ask for, bro. The players didn't want Tom Thibs. The fans didn't want Tom Thibs. And now you got Mike Brown in the building, and Karl Anthony Town looks dog shit. Do you remember how good Cat was when he was there last year with Tom Thibs? So basically, y'all get what I'm saying. The entire team was just so much better when Thibs was head coach. So y'all sometimes you just got to be careful what you ask for. I do not trust New York. My only issue with Detroit, bro. First of all, K Cunningham is right now he's the MVP, bro. I don't think I
I
don't even
agree.
think it's a question.
Yes.
Not only that, PC, but he's got this team number one in the East, bro. Like before the season started, nobody would have thought they'd be number one in the East, bro. Like maybe top five, somewhere between 1 and 5. But my only issue with the Detroit Pistons, PC, is we all know how tough and gritty it gets when the playoffs start. If you shut Cade down, who's the number 2 option that can be like, don't worry, Cade, I got this? I don't.
I have no answer for that.
Is it
Tobias Harris?
I didn't want to say it. Maybe
Yikes.
during. Like who's the number 2? What you gonna bring Stewart off the bench? Like what are you? Who's the number 2 option? It's not Holland.
That's gonna cost them in the playoffs.
Exactly. So that's the only I trust Cade Cunningham 100%, but I don't trust the Pistons, bro. Because when they shut Cade down in the playoffs, who's going to be that number 2 option? And like y'all said, it's really nobody. If Tobias Harris has to be your number 2 option, and you tell him Cade, Tobias, you got to go out there and get it done. GG's, brother. It's over. I mean, the series is over before it even starts, PC. That's my only issue with Detroit. And I think my answer is about to be like, wow. Jaylen Brown needs to be number 2 in MVP voting, in my opinion, BC. Because, again, it's another team that without Jason Tatum, nobody would thought they'd be a top. I thought Boston would completely miss out on the playoffs. I was sitting here saying before the season started, I'm like, Boston, you're about to get a high draft pick. Like that was basically what their season was in my eyes, PC. They were going to be a lottery pick. Jaylen Brown is doing this averaging. Not only is he a top 5 player on offense this year, bro, he's a top 5 player on defense as well, bro. That's just fucking impressive, bro. That's baby Kawhi. He's out there doing baby Kawhi Leonard, like Toronto Raptors type shit out there, bro. But PC, Gianni, my only issue with Boston is when the playoffs start and they shut down Jason Tatum, who's the number 2? Is it going to be Vucevic? Is it going to be Hauser? Like who's it going to be, PC? Can you tell me who's the number 2 option when you shut Jaylen Brown? Because I don't as much
I
as
got
Jaylen,
you a number 2 option
Aim
there.
Pritchard.
Well, you know who's the number 2 option there? I hate this guy so much because he always goes off in the playoffs and have so many 30-point games. Derek White always go off in the playoffs. He's so annoying to guard,
you know what?
honestly.
And he plays so both ends as well. He plays both ends as well. So you know what, Gianni? So I guess I could trust Boston. You talked me into it, Gianni. Shout out to you, bro, because it doesn't happen often, but you talked me into it. But PC, Gianni, my answer is not any of the top 3 teams, bro. I think the Cavaliers, dog. What James Harden? Because first of all, here's why I think it's going to be the Cavaliers. PC, don't look at me like that. We all know in the playoffs, bro, it's about size. Pause. It's about size. And name Mobley and what's the center's last name? Somebody give it to me quickly.
Jared Allen.
Jared Allen. It's all about size in the playoffs, bro.
That team is the second round exit again.
I don't think so, bro. I think James Harden changes everything because look, PC, sit up and just hear me out first, brother. Hear me out first, brother. All right, so like I said, it's about size in the playoffs again, Paul. Mobley and Jared Allen. Okay, so you got that handled. You bring in James Harden, who's one of these still at his age, at the age of 30, what is it, 36, 37, something like that? Still one of the best playmakers in the league, PC. And he doesn't have to be the number 1 option because we all know who the number 1 option is. It's Spider. Spider is a playoff riser. He's not a player. He doesn't fold under bright lights. He's a playoff riser. So James Harden, all James Harden has to do is just go into the playoffs and just continue to make for the bigs. Continue changing that broke nigga's life, Jared Allen, like you have been. Have y'all seen Jared Allen's numbers since James Harden got there, brother? Oh, yeah. This man is a walking 25 and 10 double-double, bro. If you can get that in the playoffs, with Spider being the playoff riser that he is, James Harden being the playmaker that he is, the Cavaliers having the size advantage that they'll have in the playoffs. PC, who's stopping this team, bro? Who is stopping this team?
Brother.
Everybody else doesn't have a second option that I just named.
Brother. I feel so bad because I know the shoes that you're currently in right now. I know the thought process that you currently have right now because I lived it. When I told y'all a couple of years back, I think it was the 2023 Sixers team, 2024 Sixers team, Harden's last year with us. And I told y'all that that team had the most grits that I could think of. Um, I thought that they were primed for a finals run. I believed it. I wholeheartedly believed it, especially when we went up 3-2 against Boston in that second round. I wholeheartedly believed, okay, this is the run. This is the run. This is the year we finally do it. And game 7 happened. And I'm waiting for Joel Embiid and James Harden to do their thing and to at the very least make it
Did he freeze? Bruh.
Yeah.
I thought it was me, bro. I'm like, hold on. PC.
With the snow and everything, the Wi-Fi and everything has been a little slow lately
What the hell?
too.
DK, this is how you know this is just out like bad faith, man.
So you gonna blame it on me?
This literally how you know this just bad faith, man. Again, as I was saying while I wait for my laptop to restart, you literally watch on Mother's Day Game 7, Boston Celtics at TD Garden taking on the Philadelphia 76ers. I had to watch with my grandmother and mother. I had to watch James Harden score 6 points. 6 points, TK. And multiple other fan bases have had to watch James Harden rise up in maybe 2 games max come playoff time. And then he folds. It happened last year with the Clippers. It's happened, a couple of times with LA. It's happened a couple of times with Houston. It happened a couple of times with Brooklyn. How many times does it need to keep happening with Harden in order to get out of people's heads that he is just simply scared of commitment? He is scared of the grind. He is scared. I can't finish. I can't finish because I'm telling you, Cleveland, not even an option for this question, by the way. Cleveland just simply doesn't have that dog in them. And because they don't have that dog in them, James Harden definitely don't got that dog in him because he's not committed enough to have that dog in him. Jared Allen can go on and have that 2010 performance come playoff time. I don't think it's gonna matter come playoff time. You can have Donovan Mitchell go off for an inconsistent, bad moral 40-point performance where he goes 8 for 72. It don't matter. It just doesn't matter. I do not trust Cleveland come playoff time over a team like even Detroit. My answer was going to be Boston. All right, because Boston's at the very least been there. All right, I don't even trust them over a team like Detroit because Detroit actually plays a physical brand of basketball that not a lot of teams have been able to pair up with. Their only concern is actually scoring, because they are that physical brand. They're like the Timberwolves of the East. All right, they match up well against really anybody. But I cannot say wholeheartedly here that I trust James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, and the Cavaliers over a team like Detroit or over a team like I'll say a team like New York because New York has proven that they're just simply not that team. All right, but the other two, no.
Now, Gianni, wait. Before you go, Gianni, wait. Just let me say something, PC. So let's take a walk through all the places that James Harden has been.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Houston, Rockets,
mm-hmm.
Los Angeles Clippers,
mm-hmm.
Brooklyn Nets,
mm-hmm.
Philadelphia,
mm-hmm.
and now the Cavaliers.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what those 4 places all have in common that Cleveland doesn't? A lot of distraction, brother.
Oh, come on.
Stop. All James Harden can do in Cleveland, my guy.
What
is focus on basketball.
What distraction do you have in Philadelphia, man?
Strip clubs, women.
There are strip clubs in Cleveland.
Brother, who's going to those, PC? Please tell me.
James
Who
Harden,
who
apparently. I mean,
There is strip clubs in
No,
Cleveland.
PC, no. All those places that have something that Cleveland doesn't have. But like I said, it's distraction, brother. All you can do in Cleveland is focus on basketball. What the hell is there to do in Cleveland? And I'm sorry for anybody, any of our listeners that are listening to the show, but if you're real and non-biased, you know how boring Cleveland is. What the hell is there to do, bro? The biggest thing there is the Cleveland Browns, PC, and their dog shit. Okay, that's the next biggest thing besides the Cavaliers.
Have
I
you
guess the
ever been to
Cleveland.
Cleveland?
I guess they're not called the Indians anymore, right? What are they
The
called now?
Guardians.
Guardians. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Gianni. And I guess you can be excited about that a little bit, PC. But dog, there is no distraction. You don't got to worry about. It's just
That's
it's still
crazy.
recording. I'm just wait till he comes back on.
Have you ever went to Cleveland, TK?
No, and I never would go, brother. Never for what? Just to say, hey, I'm in LeBron James's. And LeBron James not even from Cleveland, nigga from Akron. Like, what are we talking about, bro? There's nothing to do in Cleveland, ladies and gentlemen.
there,
James Harden
there's
will
there's
finally
there's a whole
be in
lot
a
to do.
place where he
Yeah.
won't be distracted, and the only thing he can focus on is basketball.
I'm
And I'm
sure
going
there's a
into
whole
Cleveland.
lot to do in Cleveland,
And
and
for you, PC, you're just so disrespectful. For you to sit here and say that they wouldn't beat Detroit, bro,
no,
you're out of
no,
your
I think
mind.
I think Boston Detroit is the conference finals. To me, if I
yeah.
have to guarantee it
I
right
don't know
now,
why I don't
All
know why we're
right.
downplaying
So,
Detroit
episode.
here when they are the one seed. I mean, they have dominated. Like I said, they match up well against pretty much every team in the East that's competing this season.
Okay.
I don't think that a team like Cleveland, even with the success that they've had so far with James Harden, this is the honeymoon phase. All right. They're in the honeymoon phase of the James Harden experience right now. All right. Come playoff time, when he finally has that one stinker and the fan base is like, oh snap, here we go. And every Sixers fan, every Nets fan, every Rocket fan, every Clipper fan are gonna be like, well, don't worry. Or they're gonna be like, oh, well, I told you so. And yes, we're gonna have that. They're gonna have that moment. I promise you. They're going to have that, oh snap, this guy really isn't that guy sort of moment. And this coming again, it's coming for someone that had to live through it, someone that had to experience it. I don't think James Harden is a bad player. As a matter of fact, I think that James Harden is a top 25 player of all time. Maybe stretching it a little bit too far. All right, but he has the argument for it at the very least. We're talking about a guy that if Steph Curry never existed, would be the all-time leading three-point scorer. We're talking about someone that is has been and basically still is one of the best playmakers of all time in the NBA, one of the best scorers of all time in NBA history. I don't have any hate in my heart for James Harden, but James Harden's biggest enemy throughout his entire career has been James Harden. It has been. And I'm not gonna sit through another another like spiel about, oh, Cleveland, not their guy. Cleveland's finally got the thing that's got to put them over the top. James Harden's not that person. He's not that player. And I don't know, maybe people again have to see it just to believe it, but he's just not that guy. That's okay. Like Cleveland, you can find other ways. James didn't even want to be traded there, believe it or not. So what makes you think he actually want to stay there? So I'm not over it.
Exactly. And why do you think he didn't want to go to Cleveland, PC? Because there is no distraction. Telling you.
Mhm. And that'll either that on most players motivates them, but for someone like James Harden, he's numb to the motivation. He's numb to the inspiration. That's why I don't think Cleveland is just simply like the most dangerous threat. They're certainly not the team that I trust the most. Like I said, I'd rather take a team like Detroit that doesn't have that solidified second option over a team like Cleveland, who year after year have consistently proven that they fail at the occasion. Wasn't it Jared Allen himself that said a couple of years ago the lights were brighter than expected? And you expect me to trust him over Kate Cunningham come playoff time? Come on now.
I don't think Cleveland can either. I don't think Cleveland will beat Detroit. I don't think they will beat Boston. I don't think they will beat New York. Honestly, I'll throw it out there. They're probably gonna.
That's
They're
just
probably gonna play.
disrespectful, man.
At this point, I think they're gonna play Toronto in the first round. I think they could beat Toronto. But after that, I just don't see anything with them. I think it was Boston and Detroit in the conference finals. And
Cleveland Cleveland is good enough to beat all the lesser teams being this year, like a team like Philadelphia, a team like Toronto, a team like Orlando. They're able to easily beat those guys. It's the big dogs. It's the power three in the top three right now that they can't rise to that occasion. And the only team that I could see them being wholeheartedly right now is New York because of the issues that that team has and just having an identity. Like New York just doesn't have that identity. And Skip Bayless said it best. He plays like a pussycat, bro. So it's not something again that's personal, but no, Cleveland, you'll always be the middle child, the team that's everybody doesn't actually fear, but the team that's the lesser teams kind of look up to in terms of like inspiration. You're in the middle.
Shout out J.
That's
Cole.
just what it is, really. Right. Um. Anyways, let's get to that was been that was a good topic. Let's get to the last topic of the night though. We gotta talk about Floyd Mayweather. He's coming out of retirement, guys. He's going to be boxing. Um, two Hall of Famers in Manny Pacquiao and Mike Tyson. The Mike Tyson match is expected to happen, later on this year. Or excuse me, yeah, later on this year in April, as a matter of fact, in the Dominican Republic of Congo, of all places. They've tentatively agreed to it. Meanwhile, Mayweather versus Pacquiao too is expected to happen in September of this year at the Sphere in Las Vegas. This is going to be the first time that the two face off against each other since their 2015 bout. Um, and I have to be honest with you, on a scale of 1 to 10, my excitement level for both of these are at like a 3 at best. Here. I'm sorry, I don't really care, man. I'm sorry. I don't know. Maybe it's
I'm
just me.
I'm at a one, honestly. This just don't interest me anymore. Really, it's 2026, man. It's not 2015 anymore. Like, come on, man. And Mike
I
Tyson too. I don't think has it anymore.
Hype moments and aura can only get you around at best. That's what Mike Tyson proved in his last bout. In the last bout, he couldn't even get through the first round without being winded. It got postponed as well, or delayed rather, because he was about to have a heart attack during training. He's almost 60 something years old. Floyd Mayweather won. If you name a John Jones or someone that has not got power, why are you even coming out of retirement, Floyd? You are one of the greatest boxers of all time. You do not need to prove anything to anybody. It is a money grab. That is strictly what it is. It is just a money grab. TK,
How old did you say Pacquiao was?
I'm pretty sure Pacquiao's in his 60s too. Um, he's 47. Sorry, 47. Mike Tyson, officially his age 59, damn near
So,
60.
so 47, 50. I mean, it's the same shit. Y'all miss what the big issue here is, bro.
Mhm.
The issue here is Manny Pacquiao is just broke.
Yeah.
That's all it is. He called his boy Mayweather or Floyd, and he probably asked him to do this favor because PC, you used the two key words: money grab. These motherfuckers, bro, are about to make this a pay-per-view non or no, I'm not even gonna say that. Boxing casuals are gonna get excited about this dumb shit and they're gonna pay to watch this fight, PC. wherever they have this fight, it'll be packed out in the Congo or Republic. Shout out to you know, like it'll be sold out. It'll be packed out. And we all know how this fight's gonna go, PC. Yanni. Floyd is just gonna move. This he's not gonna throw no action. He's gonna throw punches, of course, but he's just gonna move around for the entire 12 rounds, bro. It's gonna be a lot of dodging. It's gonna be Pacquiao trying to make it look as real as possible. And I guarantee you one thing, PC and Johnny, Floyd won't lose.
Yeah.
I promise you that. Bruh, it's a money
There's
grab,
no
like
way in
PC
hell.
said. Pacquiao is just fucking broke. And he probably is his I don't know, maybe he's after Mencho died, whoever that guy is that from the cartel that you guys have heard about that guy, Mencho from the cartel. Yeah, probably died, and Pacquiao probably lost his connects, you know what I'm saying? So he's not getting that income coming in from the drug money anymore. The nigga's broke. That's all it is, brother. That nigga is broke, dog. That's the only reason why this is even a thing, bro. You said that nigga is 47. Nigga, you're 50. We don't want to see that shit, bro. We don't want to see that shit, dog. And I tell you right now, I'm not watching that shit. I'm not even gonna stream that shit for free, brother. I got all the streaming sites. I'm not even gonna watch that bullshit, bro, because I know exactly what the fuck is gonna happen. Well, we've seen so many of your fights. We already know how this is about to end, brother. What is it about to be? 51, 52 and 0?
Hmm.
Yeah, like come on, dog. Like nobody wants to see this shit, bro, except for boxing casuals. I'm not excited about this shit at all. And if I had to give it a rating on a scale of 1 to 10, PCU was too nice for the 3, bro. I'm giving that shit a 1. Only because 0 can't be an option.
Yeah. Um, 3 at best because I don't know. We might see like a tease of the knockouts. I don't know. I think I'm so done with hype moments in aura, especially when it pertains to boxing, man. It's just it's not something that's clicking. It's not something that's clicking for me, dog. But hey, it's gonna happen in Congo, of all places. That's gonna happen, and then fight with Tyson Mayweather. It's gonna happen in Vegas. So we already know what the books are looking for in that sense. Um, but hey, it's crazier things have happened. Who knows? Who knows? Um, episode 255, guys. Let's wrap this episode up. Like I said, it was gonna be a short episode tonight. Want to thank y'all for coming out this week. Make sure you call loved one, check up on them, tell them that you love them. Stay hydrated, of course. Free Palestine. Happy Black History Month, by the way, to all my brothers and sisters out there, and to all my to my brothers here, of course. Gianni, you're Dominican, but you were on the ship with us, so it's okay. Um, I bring it up mainly because of the drama surrounding what happened at the BAFTA Awards with Jamie or no, excuse me, with Jamie Foxx, with Michael B. Jordan and Delroy, and the person with Tourette's and him what he said. I do feel like that is something that one is out of a person with Tourette's control. Let's call that for what it is. I get frustration from Jamie, that there are forms of Tourette's that quite literally has that happen. um I hate this idea, and I hate this narrative that's you know the media has come up with, because it's essentially pinned black people and people advocate for Tourette's against each other, when this shouldn't have been aired at all in the first place. Like, no joke. Before this season, I don't even think a lot of people knew that the BAFTA Awards were even a thing. I'm gonna give it a buck. Um, and so to have this happen, I'm sure that they saw this as a perfect opportunity to put themselves out there, for better or for worse, because attention is the one thing that is always going to garner other attention, whether it's good or bad. But as I feel like I see almost every Black History Month now, there's always some nigga out there or a group of niggas that are just making us look so bad. And I'm sick of it. Yes, I'm talking to the Uncle Toms. I'm talking to I'm talking to the one viral clip that I saw of the dude saying that we got to counter racism with racism, as his white girlfriend calls him the hard R. I'm talking about, all the people that have no sense of shame anymore. What happened to shame? We need to bring back public executions or public humiliations or something to get it through this generation's skull that what they're doing is not right. You need to have some sense of pride. Pride. When you talk about being this shade, when you talk about being melanated, there's no pride anymore. Rest in peace, Reverend James. He just passed away not too long ago. You think he fought for a nigga to say that we gotta counter racism with racism? What the fuck are we doing anymore? What are we talking about? I'm so tired. And it's like I see the most shameless things in retweets and posts practically every February. I have slightest clue why. I don't know why. And to be quite honest with you, I don't care to know why. I just wanted to stop. Like, we already get the shortest month out of the year to begin with, and y'all want to fuck it up every single year with stupid bullshit. Embarrassing us. Embarrassing us. And for what? Clicks? For views? Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. And there is no shame anymore. Only clouts, only attention, man. I don't know. Episode 256 will be next week. We're kind of in a down periods. I feel like I'm not gonna lie. Baseball season is right around the corner, though. MLB is gonna start up right before you know it. So will be time to talk about baseball, more so in the future. But for now, that's gonna do it for us here at WHS. My name is PC, joined by TK and Gianni this week. I hope y'all have a good day. All right, stay warm. I know I have to. Unfortunately, I'm sick of this snow. Take me back to Cancun. Matter of fact, group trip to Cancun again. Why not? We gotta go to an all inclusive like resort though. All right, so we can be drunk every day. Absolutely. Cut the cameras. Yo, that's
Wait,
just
man,
memes.
wait, whoa, 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 whoa. With all that cartel shit going on right now, brother, I'm not touching Mexico, dude. Mm-mm.
All right, all right, all right, all right. Maybe not Mexico. Maybe let's say I don't know. Give me throw suggestions out there. Bahamas. Uh, uh,
Czechoslovakia.
what?
No? Russia? No? Okay.
They would they would call us. Yeah, we're done. Good night.
Yo, TK is crazy, man.
I don't know, bro. I had to think of something like Mexico, dog. All right, y'all.
Just